realized only after making this video that I basically said almost all the same things as in my other brain rewiring tips video, which is called focusing on goodness or something. And I wanted to post this anyway, now that I made this. And I think I said here something new as well. But I also wanted to start by reading a Bible verse that goes well together with what I'm gonna talk about. So Ecclesiastes 11 and 5 and 6. Just as you do not know the path of the wind, or how the bones form in the womb of a pregnant woman, so you do not know the work of God who makes everything. Sow your seed in the morning, and do not stop working until the evening, for you do not know which activity will succeed, whether this one or that one, or whether both will prosper equally. And also verse 4, which is before these verses. He who watches the wind will not sow, and he who observes the clouds will not reap. And this has spoken to me many times, because sometimes I'm observing so much my emotions, like I'm doing something and then I'm checking if it worked, and focusing on what my emotion now is. And when I do that, I don't kind of have time to sow in the truth, because I'm just observing whether this is working or not. And these verses are talking about sowing in faith. So I think they were pretty well fitting into this as well. To share one more brain retraining tip. So this is especially those with limbic system impairment, which just means that the brain is stuck in negative emotions, especially fear, without even a real reason for it. So I'm gonna share something that has helped me. So if you are stuck in trying to shift your emotion, what to do? So sometimes when I'm having negative emotion, mostly fear, sometimes some other emotion, like maybe desperation or something, I'm getting stuck in trying to fix it, to fix the emotion, which is very understandable, especially when you're rewiring your brain and where it's needed to shift the emotions as well. But sometimes I'm getting into this trying and striving, and that's why I'm stuck in the emotion, actually, because my constant focus is on trying to fix the emotion situation so that the emotion changes too. And that is actually not helping anything but making things more difficult. So here are some tips on how to break out of this trying to fix it. It's actually very simple. First is the step of surrender that I already explained in my other brain rewiring tip video. By the way, I have a playlist now where you can listen to all of those videos, so check that one out if you want to. And in the surrender moment, it's also always good to ask God that, okay, is this an emotion that I just need to feel right now, and just sit with it for a while and maybe cry or whatever and talk about it with you. But if you don't feel like that is what the Lord is leading you into right now, and if also you're not hearing anything else that He leads you into, it's always so good to be on this journey with your Good Shepherd. But usually if I'm not hearing anything, it's usually like just my brain stuck in a rut, in an emotion, and that's when you can, it's good to have this little attitude change where I start sowing instead of shifting. What I mean is, I can still do things in order to shift the emotion, but actually I am doing things with another attitude now, with another perspective, I think. So when I start doing things now, it is out of a place of faith. So basically, I'm sowing. I'm sowing a seed to the ground, which is not a great effort, really. And then I'm leaving the seed in the ground, and I'm simply trusting that it will grow, and I'm giving it to God's hands. And then I'm moving on and doing something else. And you can learn for yourself what it means, like practically. But what it means for me is, for example, okay, I'm gonna take something from the Bible. I'm gonna open my Bible and take a Bible verse. Sometimes when I'm having an emotion, I'm trying to read the Bible and it just feels like it doesn't open up and it doesn't change the emotion, and it just feels difficult requires some courage. So just do little things with faith. That's my tip, and you can also check my focusing on goodness video, and you can do those kind of things with the same mentality. Yeah, and an important thing is in this is to embrace the emotion of the situation as an opportunity for resilience, maturity, faith, and you can even get excited for how God will turn this around. He will surely use this opportunity, and nothing will be wasted. So embracing instead of resisting the emotion is super helpful, and many times has actually for me shifted also the emotion when I didn't try to fix it anymore, but I just started to embrace it and turn it around and make the best of it, and so on. So that's good. The shift comes as a result, usually. And sometimes those kind of days are just opportunities to learning to receive comfort in the middle of it, and to learn to have grace toward yourself, and to just wait upon the Lord and with the Lord. Sometimes it's also very good to just rest and do nothing, not even like sowing, but just rest and wait and be still. And sometimes the emotion calms down with that as well, or actually many times if you're just there for as long as you need to be. So there are different situations and different things work in different times, but here are some tips that have helped me. And whenever I found surrender and stopped trying to shift